Hi there, it's Carole Cooney here from Open Lettings in Huntingdon. I'm going through my series of landlord interviews with local landlords, and this evening I'm joined by Fiona Talbot, who's a local landlord in Huntingdon and also other parts of Cambridgeshire. So if I may, Fiona, I'd like to ask you a few questions.
Yeah, no problem.
The first one really being, why are you a landlord?
Well, I've been doing this 19 years, 20 years in June 2018. And my parents were landlords, so I grew up going around. They had their strategy was flats. So we used to go to the flats when we were children, so I kind of saw it secondhand through them. And I've been going 19 years now. And it's weird, I'm not sure I consider myself a landlord anymore because I run a property company that has properties. So I suppose I'm a director of a property company more than just a landlord now. But I really enjoy, property as an asset. I've been in it so long, and I didn't really get in it for financial freedom. I got in it because I enjoyed owning properties, renting them out, that whole process, doing the deals. I think I'm an asset builder, empire builder, and I've always, right from the start, felt that the tenants were the customers, and wanted to always operate very compliant. So the whole new compliance that's come in, that's not really a problem because it's always been my mindset to be as compliant as I can be, because obviously people are living in these homes, so they need to be clean and safe. And I just enjoy owning residential property, and I'm also obviously a commercial landlord too, so I have some commercial assets in my portfolio.
Brilliant. And
that's the short answer.
Yeah. And what sector of tenant do you accommodate?
So what kind of tenant?
Yeah.
So I generally have sort of upper blue collar, low white collar working tenants. We do have, some single mums, which are great because they stay long term. They look after the properties. Yeah. I also have commercial tenants too. I have a hotel that I lease out to an operator, and I have some serviced commercial units that I lease out as well. So various tenants.
Yeah, so you've got quite a mixed bag there. And how do you think Section 24, which is already starting to bite, how do you think that will affect you?
Clause 24 is a very curious policy by the government, and it's definitely going to have, I don't want to use the word damaging effect on the landlord market, but it's certainly going to, I believe, influence amateur landlords, potentially those people with 3 or less, from maybe going into the market or even buying more. In fact, I was in Glasgow 2 weeks ago speaking to a lecturer and he told me he sold a buy-to-let flat he had because of Clause 24, which is quite sad, really.
Yeah.
And so there is that whole discussion around the corporatisation of buy-to-let. Gone are the grocery stores on the corner, and now there's Tesco's, that type of thing, and similar things will happen in buy-to-let. But that's not a problem for me because I'm already a property company, so I have larger levels of stock. I'm already operating in that way. Though I do have still a large portion of my stock in my personal name because of how long I've been operating. Not a big problem. I have tax advisors, and I've just recently had a report through, and it doesn't suit me to actually roll my personal into limited company for at least 2 years. So there's a lot of doctrine out there saying, do it straight away, and I disagree with that. It's always case by case, needs to be analysed and drilled into quickly. And in terms of sort of acquisition, if that is scaring off people into the market or people are exiting, I would look to take on more stock, take on portfolios, becoming an active buyer, and disruption can cause opportunity, and that should be great for me because I'll want to go in there and sort of take advantage of that disruption.
So ostensibly, for every problem there's a solution, one could say.
There is.
And how do you feel in general about...
Sorry, just one more point. Just thinking about it. So I've been going nearly 20 years. That's nearly 2 decades. And as all good property investors should know, you should be able to pivot. The market will always bring changes. So complaining about that change and moaning and groaning isn't going to get anyone anywhere.
True.
I know a property investor who founded a large local company, 150 million plus. He's been operating 50 years. He's in his 70s. And he's had rent control, he's been through 6 downturns. They come from different directions. There's different things that go on in the market, interest rates, all sorts of macro influences. And as a property investor, we must learn to pivot and just deal with those challenges that come. Yeah. So I just see Clause 24 as both a challenge and an opportunity, and I'm just dealing with it accordingly.
Right. But my next question was, how do you feel in general about legislation changes? But I suppose you've pretty much covered it in that question.
Isn't it interesting the government can make these small changes and they can have such a rippling effect into the housing market?
Yes.
I worry for tenants. I worry about homelessness as well. I was very at the forefront of the homelessness crisis in 2012, having a 17-bedroom hotel and housing homeless families. We had 16 children living in my hotel once for 6 months. And I was working there day in, day out, and I saw the effect of a government policy change where it was that extra room stuff that went on, and how that rippled into the market, affect homelessness and stuff like that. It is what it is. We're all going to have to deal with it. But going forward, I am concerned about increases in homelessness, maybe landlords, that are being caught with their pants down, so to speak, that are over-leveraged and over-geared and can't roll them into a limited company to mitigate Clause 24 for whatever reasons. They may have a poor payment record or something like that, losing their entire portfolio, perhaps built up over time, just because of these government changes. It's going to be very, very interesting, and there might be some fallout that's not pretty.
Yeah. And lastly, can you predict how house prices will perform in the near future?
Well, the average house price in the last month has actually gone up, believe it or not. I think it was by £2,000. I was just looking at that last week. So I'm kind of nerdy geek that likes numbers. So 2018, where do I think house prices are going to go? That's going to be location specific, of course. I'm hearing a lot of positive things around northern prices, and that they're not being affected. That's probably because of the yields and southern investors buying up there for yield. But I would say that I think in the next 18 months we're going to see a gapping down of the prices generally. I know volumes are down in Cambridge, which is an area that we both invest in. Sales volumes are down, but whether the prices are going to fall, I would probably say yes. By how much? I'm not sure. I think areas that have significantly increased since the previous recession are the most at risk of falling sharply. But the areas that I invest, I still always look at the fundamentals, and I'm still confident. And if the numbers are right, I'm still buying.
Yeah.
But always, looking to optimize pricing. Do I think there will be a gapping down in price and then a leveling off? Yes, I do. Probably within the next 4 quarters to 8 quarters.
Maybe towards the end of
slightly sooner than I think some pundits are predicting.
But again,
I think there's micro cracks already appearing in the market.
It will be temporary. Temporary could be 2 years maybe, but it usually is, isn't it?
The fundamentals of the UK housing market are always strong, and you've got to keep an eye on the macro factors like interest rates, that sort of thing. Availability of credit too, people's ability to actually get mortgages. The rules around mortgages, what the criteria have all changed. It's definitely going to be choppy waters, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, that's all we've got time for today. Thank you ever so much, Fiona, and Merry Christmas.
And thank you, Carole. Thank you.
Thank you.